Stephen Ministry exists to give one-on-one Christian care to men and women who are in need. We're here to listen, to support, and to comfort individuals when they're in a crisis.
In August of 2006, my family and I moved so we could spend more time together. 3 weeks after the move, my 16-year-old son died by suicide.
Stephen ministers are dependable caregivers. While they're not professional counselors or therapists, they are trained and supervised lay volunteers.
I was devastated. I missed my son so deeply. While I found the strength to meet the needs of my family, there was no one here for me.
Each caregiver has been given 50 hours of instruction before they're even approved to become a caregiver. We attempt to match the needs of the individual with the background of the caregiver.
There were no requirements, no pressure was put on me. I was free to share my fears and my pain in my own way. I could pick up the phone any time, day or night, and know that he'd be there.
Stephen Ministers keep all personal information confidential. We want men and women to feel completely free to share their stories.
My Stephen Minister helped support my faith and my life when I needed it the most. He helped me put my life back together.
Life can be very hard. Sometimes people suffer, sometimes people die. There's a lot of uncertainties. Life's not very predictable. You have grief in your life that you just don't know how to get through. You know, it could be hard. You need a friend, just someone to talk to. I know when I've gone through lonely periods in my life, when I'm just kind of by myself with all my worries, fears, and doubts, that's all I think about. It kind of consumes me, it eats me alive. But there's been other times where I've had people come alongside me, just let me vent, and really just spill out my junk and say, hey, this is what I'm going through. The Stevens Ministry is a group of people who care. Not pastors or professionals, in a sense, like they're counselors or therapists, but they certainly are people who care, no matter what your issue is. If you don't have a clear conscience about things, Stephen Ministry is for you.
Life can be very hard. Sometimes people die. There's a lot of uncertainty. Life's not very predictable. If you're like me, you feel stress often. You don't know what the future holds. You're worried about what people think about you. You have grief in your life that you don't really know how to get through. And you know, it can be hard. You need a friend. You need someone to talk to. And I know that when I've gone through lonely periods in my life, times where I'm just kind of by myself, with all my worries, with all my fears, it kind of consumes me, it kind of eats me alive. But then there's other times where I've been fortunate enough to have people that kind of come alongside me, that I can vent, that I can kind of just spew my junk out and just say, hey, this is what I'm going through. So the Stevens Ministry is a group of people who care. They're trained. They're not pastors, they're not professionals in the sense of being a therapist or a counselor. But they're definitely there to care for people, no matter what your issue is. So if you're having a rough time coping with loss, with grief, with stress, Stephen's Ministry is for you. If there are things that you're wrestling through, things that are plaguing you, things that are preventing you from getting the kind of sleep that you want to get every night, if you don't have a clear conscience about stuff, Stephen's Ministry is for you.
Across the years, I've come to realize how important it is to have someone to journey with us when we go through the valleys, the tough times. And as pastors here at the church, we have people coming in nearly every day with stories that can break your heart. People who have just received the diagnosis of cancer, stories of unemployment, sadness because a loved one has died. We hear stories of divorce, and we see the pain on the faces of those who have been rejected by someone who once loved them. Well, the list goes on, and sometimes as pastors, we feel like firemen, just running from one fire to another. To be honest, we need help with dealing with some of the tough things that life throws at us. And in this ministry, Stephen Minister is matched up one-to-one, a man with a man, a woman with a woman. And the Stephen Minister is given 50 hours of training, and then we commission them And then we assign them to one of these hurting people. And you meet with them at least an hour a week. We provide excellent training so that you know how to be a good listener and you know how to deal with the grief of the person that you're with. You learn what to say and what not to say. Stephen ministers are not therapists, but they know how to be fully present with people in a confidential way. Across the years, I've noticed that those people who have gone through the hard places, they're the ones who are best able to help those who are going through them now. So if you've been wounded by some of the tragedies of life, I hope that you will consider taking this training so that you too can be a part of this Stephen ministry team and that you too can become a wounded healer.
Since we began Stephen ministry 20 years ago, I can go to sleep at night knowing that there are about 20 people receiving quality Christian care from a Stephen minister. Now, I, as a pastor, don't have another 20 hours a week that I can give in order to give them that kind of quality of care. And so it's just a delight to know that they're being taken care of in their time of need.
We are ready to come alongside of you and support you as long as we are needed.